So, this has been a great book of bugs for Immortal Empires. There are still a couple of things that can easily be copied over from the Realm of Chaos Great Book of Bugs. But as we go, we add things and modify things depending if something else has been going on. This is basically just Helman Gore's campaign and the Civils campaign, and we play here in depth as much as we can, start the game, so long campaigns and thorough, not skipping things and just rushing the next turn. And let's see what we have so far. Thank you, Pittsburgh.
Have you seen that shit? Holy shit! What the hell?
Let's start with the things that are under bugs. We got multiple sections here. It's called the Great Book of Bugs, but there are bug section. There is the issues, features, and oversight section, and there is trade section, magic items and ancillary section, and quality of life section. As you can see, there's quite a bit. Let's read things and see if something has been different. Yeah. Hey guys. Just save this. Before we start reading, I just want to say one thing. Anybody can use this. If you want to prove your point or pass your point or send to CA or to modders, anybody can use this. Do with it what you want. I'll be happy if they fix half of these things, but unless they have a serious team working on a game, which doesn't look like it, I'll be surprised if 15 to 20% of this gets ever fixed or improved. So under bugs, what do we have here? Campaign movement range buffs don't work on heroes, at least on traits and followers. Strategies, skills, costs are absolutely relentless. Yes, is right. The heroes movement buffs don't work. I don't remember if I ever seen a hero or 100% movement, and this causes not issues with this properties not doing anything in the game, but they're actually present, and on some factions like Zinj, unique ones, like the regular one is strategy is 5%, but Zinj has the OP unique one that is 6%. So not only these properties don't do anything, but when a hero is in the army, it actually makes a little weird issue with movement when it comes to the army. Because you put a hero in the army and it's no longer an agent. On that part of the game, an army movement is supposed to be the sole factor for movement, but it still affects army movement, which makes no sense. That's another issue. And I think when a hero becomes part of the army as a military unit, its movement bar should be completely ignored. And this also causes some issues with army movement, which, you know, I guess small indie studio can never fix. So I think one way to fix this would be to either make it work, obviously, or make heroes scale movement with ranks. Let's say hero is rank 1, it should have a 100 movement. A hero on rank 2 should have 102 movement. And on a rank 50, it should have 150% movement. When hero goes into the army, it should prevent any movement changes to the army and should be solely a military unit. And to be cemented, the hero movement should not be allowed to be used until the next turn. Next turn, if you want to remove the hero of the army, wherever the army is, the hero will have access to full of his movement, depending on their rank. It's not rocket science. But, you know, this company has the excuses with a bunch of spaghetti code and, you know, lots of work. We have, you know, can't put the effort and blah, blah, blah. So, I don't expect this to ever change. They're probably just gonna do the band-aid fix, which will just either remove these traits from the heroes or followers, and or try to, you know, fix it with the regular movement. I don't think that it's been 6 years now and still doesn't work, so not one of the priorities. This is a thing that causes issues sometimes in the game, and this is not a minor bug. This is not a minor bug because campaign map of the game, this part of the game is all about moving pieces, and these pieces need campaign movement range. And if campaign movement range systems are not reliable and they're doing what they're supposed to do without any, you know, issues, the whole system is unreliable. And how can you have a turn-based game with unreliable turn-based movement? So this should have been fixed years ago, and not still 6 years later still bugged. The next bug here is Malagor's Crowfather skill boss missile strength, but Malagor doesn't have range attack. So this is pretty much one of those standard bugs you see in any game, especially games that are rushed, that are released into a fake full release beta. And, you know, this type of things usually get fixed, and this is probably the easiest fixes to happen. So easy fix when devs find time, when, you know, they actually work. Helmand Gore's trait makes him immune to plague attrition in his army, but Nurgle's egg plague causes him to take attrition. Well, they added new properties to Helmand Gore's, but they forgot to test if these properties work. Whoever was assigned to test these things probably thought that plague means Skaven plague. Maybe he was not familiar that now there's a Nurgle plague in the game. Maybe as was not worked on Warhammer 3 before. Should probably be easily fixed, not a very relevant thing, but if they put this part of the trait, it should work, right? Long-term partnership in trade still not working properly, and this one bothers me a lot. It's such a small thing, but it bothers me a lot. It worked in Rome 2, it worked in Shogun 2, it worked in Attila, and they use the same system here, and it doesn't work properly. So the point of trade is to sign a trade agreement and to coexist with another faction and prosper over time by having, you know, uninterrupted trade. This uninterrupted trade makes both factions grow in prosperity, as in increases the value of the trade partnership. Meanwhile, in this game, it stops working or it never works. So let's say you have, I'll just say now a random number here, 200 trade agreement. This is combined tariffs and resources. And based on this value of the trade agreement, the long-term partnership value will start to increase every single turn. So 200 could be next turn 202, 203, 205, and slowly grow over time. 100 turns later on 10 different partnerships, depending on the amounts. If it's over, if it's much higher, this value is higher. But in this game, sometimes it doesn't even start the long-term partnership, like you don't have a trade. Stops increasing randomly. It's basically a pointless mechanic that doesn't work properly. I would say this works maybe 10% of the time how it's supposed to work. 10% of the time, and I'm being generous here. And if you're wondering exactly what this is, when you go to trade, you see the value of trade routes. With some of these factions, we've been trading for a long time, but this is supposed to be another icon here saying long-term partnership. If the value of the trade is way too low, as in this values are very too low, the long-term partnership doesn't do anything. But once it hits like a certain value, like around 200, a random number to pick, it will start increasing and grow every turn. So it's like a mechanic that supports coexistence instead of just conquering everybody. and getting more lands to get more economy. And it's relevant for some factions more than the others. While for the worst case, it's not relevant. The trade agreement serves solely for stabilizing relations between the factions, so diplomacy stays stable instead of them randomly breaking treaties and you know, going hostile against you as the campaign you know, progresses. So you get a little bit money out of it, at a favor, but it's mainly due to buff relationship in this case. So this has been bugged and it's not working, and it's haven't been working a really long time. The only time I seen this really work in Warhammer series was in Warhammer 2 Eye of the Vortex campaign. Eye of the Vortex campaign had the most consistent long-term partnership work, and even there it breaks eventually. But there was a campaign where the trade was the best. If you ever played Eye of the Vortex and you enjoyed doing trade and seeing how it grows, well, Eye of the Vortex was the best campaign for it, from my experience in all of the Warhammer series. So it was the only campaign where trade actually worked properly. There's something in the files, I note down some spaghetti code excuse, you know, too complicated to fix, or maybe they just don't consider this anything at all and they just don't care about it. Now, there's so many Total War systems Warhammer series uses that they don't really care if everything works properly, you know, as long as people not too overly complain about it. If 1,000 plebs on Reddit would, you know, cry about it, no doubt they would take a look into it and try to fix it. If it was too complicated, they would blame the spaghetti code, or if it was simple, they would have fixed already. So stuff like this don't get too much, not enough noise, so not gonna get ever fixed. This is a company which, unless you yell outside their doors and interrupt their sleep, their peace of mind, they don't really do shit. They only really answer the cries and some random YouTuber issues that might not have been the issues in the first place. Traits no longer show how they were acquired on their tooltip, so basically there's an issue in the Mortal Empires. Like, for example, body counter, it doesn't tell you how this is acquired. Or Queen Dethroned, it doesn't tell you how this is acquired. You see the brackets or the white text, it tells you how this is unlocked. And it doesn't really say anymore how it is worked. For some reason, it stopped working in Mortal Empires beta. This might not even be a bug, this might be just a minor issue, not really big deal, but still noting down. I like to see, you know, these things, and it was a nice touch, you know, a nice quality of life to see how these things work. Sometimes I like to go over the traits and see how they were acquired, so, you know, put some thought into it, because, you know, you don't really need traits to play campaigns, win campaigns. You don't even need min-maxing and shit, even on the legend difficulty. But I like to do it because it's fun for me. I like to see things, you know, get stronger, get better, and have better performance. We have done hundreds of campaigns, and a lot of them we literally had to just, you know, eat shit because the system sucked. Or we had the house rules, so we couldn't have the liberty of doing things we want to do, like the OCD stuff. But you don't really need these things, but these things are supposed to work, and they should work, and this is a game that has a play value, and this is a game that costs premium money. Premium money, and you would think they could spare a couple of people to polish it. Vampire counts resurrect abilities like Invocation of Neheg don't work on cavalry units. Sometimes it just depletes their healing capacity and doesn't restore health to models. So there's a bug right now with the cavalry units, with the Undead, the Black Knights, the Blood Knights, and Hex Raids, where the healing randomly stops working. And it's a big bug. And I myself personally consider cavalry an important part of the Vampire counts. Heck, at this stage, probably more important than the flying units of the Vampire counts. So I would like to see this, you know, work again. This is a kind of major bug for the vampires. This should have been fixed already. This is stuff that they should be hot fixed on like a second week, and not the second month or the third month or the next year. When using Lightning Strike on several armies, at the end of the battle you still get awarded with experience like you fought all of them and not just that one army. Oh, that's a beneficial bug. also abusable and exploitative. So let's say you're lightning strike an army that's reinforced by 3 other large armies. So you defeated one army and all 4 armies count for experience. So yeah. Do they test anything in this game? Man, I joke around. I joke around when they were doing the dev talk, when they had that gray old guy. My bad. Middle-aged guy, when they had the young guy. You know, never say never. And they had that guy in the background, the third guy. That's 3 guys. 3 guys. I joke around. There is 3 people working on Immortal Empires. I fucking hope it's not true. Because this Immortal Empires project is the largest project they ever had. And we all wasted so much effort and resource in the dog shit Realm of Chaos campaign. And if they don't have a real team working on this, the team that tests the game, it's clear they don't have anybody that understands the meta or plays the game or any serious level. Probably some kind of bunch of wannabe professionals without they even getting paid. So some questionable quality assurance that doesn't really understand the intricacies of the game systems or the metagame itself. And this is why there are issues like this that exist in the game. Nobody has been paying attention. They might have been paid to play the game, to test the game, but do they have any voice or opinion, or how much does it matter, or it doesn't matter at all? They just say they do testing, but does anything happen after testing is done? Literally hundreds of issues right now in the game. I would say there was no testing whatsoever. We are testing the game right now when you see issues like this. Testers and people who actually wanna, you know, get some kind of proficiency at a game or provide some expertise should be paying the fucking attention the game deserves. Pay the attention when playing the game. If you're just playing the game, like, what the fuck? Anybody can just play the game. Any idiot can play the game, and any idiot can just, you know, watch this and then parrot it on Reddit or their forums that, you know, something is broken. But if more people paid attention to the game they're playing, there'll be much less issues, because there'll be more voices, you know, in that echo chamber on the internet to fix things. Because that's all that matters. More people complaining and bitching, nothing gets done otherwise. If you're not complaining, there's no need to fix anything. Without complaining, nothing gets done. Nothing would ever get done. How amazing it would be that a company creates a game and there is no issues. And the games like this exist. And do you guys think this game were created when they had no issues? This game probably had a couple of people with experience and expertise, maybe even a real professional quality assurance team that actually cared to make the great product. No, these days we get half-ass products at premium prices, and we just have to accept it. Because sometimes, you know, they come with free stuff, so we, you know, complain less, right? You know, when especially when they list free stuff, and you're not supposed to complain about this, it's free. So they try to, you know, give you more buggy shit so you complain less. And this causes even more issues. So this is another big bug, and stuff like this is bizarre that it ever actually even happens. It's like even happens. How the fuck did they even assign experience in the first place? So it is a campaign factor primarily for the characters. The fact this bug even exists. Bug number 8. Guys, let me tell you one thing. You know, this is gonna be a while before we get to everything. But this whole list, this is me personally. Me personally found, confirmed, and written this shit down. This is my personal complaining list. Some of my personal opinions about a lot of issues in the game and bugs. This is what I found playing the game. 2 campaigns, by the way. This is how you test the game. Nobody has time for that shit. They only need to get paid. They don't want to put, you know, effort. This is how you test the game. By actually playing the game and paying attention. If something, you know, catches your eye, you note it down. If you figure out it's occurring differently, like the Dark Diplomacy for Chaos, you edit it until you get to the root of the, you know, the issue. This is how you do it. And not play the game for 20 hours and, you know, if it didn't crash your leg, you know, it's fine. Game works. Ship it out. Sell it. Sometimes killing the enemy lord in manual battle, they're still alive at the end of the battle with 1 HP. And anybody that understands how the game works, does anybody know how this works? I know how this works, but does anybody in the chat knows why this happens? A couple of you might knows. Who doesn't know how this works? How is it you kill a lord but they're alive with 1 HP at the end of the battle? Do you guys know how this works? I will explain you exactly how this works, cause I pay fucking attention unlike these developers. Sometimes killing the enemy lord in manual battle, they're still alive at the end of the battle with 1 HP. So basically, let's say the lord is the last alive entity on the battlefield. So you deliver the final blow, and the final blow will register the kill. But before the lord gets killed, it drops down to 1 health. So the battle ends when the lord is on 1 health, because the kill got registered, and not when he dies half a second later.
Have you seen that shit? Holy shit!
This is a problem with the battle ending automatically ending too soon. So battle ends when that damage is registered, but the death animation didn't go through. The lord fell to 1 health first, and the next split second it would die. But the battle ended the moment it was dropped down to 1 health. Cut. So this is a problem. The battle should not automatically end until a couple of seconds later after that point. And hopefully they understand this thing, you know, but, you know, they can just discard this. It's not really a big deal, but, you know, we pay premium prices. Shit like this should not happen. And I will tell you why this is a problem. If you don't kill the lord, you don't get extra money. The lord is the biggest multiplier for post-battle loot after battle is over. So if you didn't kill the lord, you don't get the money. If they were marching and this happens, the lord is still alive and army gets destroyed without you getting the money. It will only work if it was in the settlement. Sometimes this lord will survive and just, you know, get away. Might be a vampire army and they will raise dead a whole army next turn. Very irritating, very frustrating. So this is not a small issue. This is actually a big issue that sometimes it's very frustrating. This type of issue feeds the system, which a lot of people find toxic on the campaign map. You can fight twice though, isn't it beneficial? Well, sometimes it can be beneficial in that regard, but this should not be happening. Because it might retreat in an area where you don't want to go. You need to spend movement, and the only thing you're gonna get there is a chance to get another item, magic item. If you don't have them in range, this can be frustrating. This just feeds the game frustration for a lot of people when it happens against them. To prevent this from happening, you should try to kill the enemy lords earlier and not at the end of the battle. Not all factions want to focus enemy lord though. But if you can focus down the enemy lord, it will end better sooner anyways. So sometimes you do want to focus the lord. Greenskins VA army reinforcement sometimes just enters battle and does nothing, just stands there. Yeah, the great Warhammer 3 improved AI. They improved the AI in Siege so much it stopped working in the on the battlefields. Oh shit! They improved the settlement Siege AI so much that they made it worse. It's one of those bullshit, you know, praises. You know, like when they're selling the new cell phone, new smartphone. Yes, we improved it. We made a little bit more curves in that interface there. There's a couple of extra lines on the casing. Yeah, that's the new model. When they, you know, they actually use the old worse AI instead of years of work that went into the old AI to work properly. So instead of getting new, shiny, improved interface, you get a bunch of bullshit and outdated AI, while you have improved AI at the end of Warhammer 2. And it will take years to get anywhere. Fucking years. The AI has been downgraded, not improved. We're having worse AI than we ever was in Warhammer 2. And all that improvements they did is gonna take years to get to the point where it was. No, a tier 3 had arrow towers, but it was firing cannonballs out of arrow slits on the battlefield. Yeah, that's nice. Nice. That feels rushed. So, you know those arrow slits on the towers? Where the shooter could shoot, but, you know, it had pretty much impossible to hit him inside? Well, somehow the enemies are shooting cannonballs out of that. So there are cannonballs firing out of arrow slits on the battlefield. Bad enough we got grain silos shooting all kinds of projectiles, even shit out of the Chaos Realm. Now we have cannonballs shooting out of arrow slits. Vampire counts take unlimited siege engines don't work on Empire Fort siege battles, also doesn't work in Settlement battles, which are kind of sieges these days as well. So guys, apparently the siege battles and the settlement battles are not the same thing. And fighting a fortress and not a city, an actual military fortress like the Empire one or the High Elf one is not considered a siege battle. So you got settlement battles and you get siege battles. How do you tell the difference? Well, the settlement battles you cannot build siege equipment, and siege battles you can build siege equipment. And if you have buffs or debuffs or anything that modifies siege stuff, it only works in sieges, and these are battles where you can build siege equipment. Any other battle that is a settlement battle and you cannot build siege equipment is not considered a siege battle. Even if it is a military fortress like the Empire or the High Elf one, which has walls and, you know, a fortress in front of you, but not a siege. Corpse Guard with Balefire Augment doesn't work. The Balefire on the Corpse Guard doesn't work. They've created this new gimmick-like ability, you know, kind of cool niche thing, but it doesn't work. It's supposed to give you some buffs, but right now it doesn't work. It's possibly because it's assigned a wrong modifier, you know, being an augment buff, or a hex being a debuff. So there's something off with it. And you can see the Balefire here. They gave it Balefire effect, so imbued flaming attacks, imbued magical attacks, flame resistance plus 20%. So this thing is supposed to give the Corpse Guard and the units around the Corpse Guard flaming attacks, magical attacks, and 20% flame resistance. But it doesn't work. And when you look at the Unholy Lodestone here, possibility regeneration area. augment area. This one says possibility hex of the winds. So basically somebody has changed this ability to add flaming and magical attacks and 20 flame resistance to allied units, but they forgot to change what this ability is as the base. The base ability is still trying to penalize the enemy winds of magic. So they forgot to change the type of ability. So it's still Hex of the Winds instead of an augment or some kind of, you know, buff in the area. So they changed what it does, but they didn't change, you know, turn it into an augment around it. So it's still, you know, trying to debuff the enemy winds, but it no longer debuffs enemy winds. It tries to buff your units at the same time. So at the same time, it is debuffing the enemy winds and not buffing your units. Great job double checking. See treasure events sometimes don't activate when you go over them, but when you do another event type thing like capture a settlement, they activate afterwards. So basically, what's the issue with this? You pick up something in the water, like one of these sea treasures, and this events icon grays out, and what I call it, you know, a blocked event, bugged event. Until you activate another event, it will not resolve. If you have a big campaign, lots of pieces to move, it's easily fixed, but I fear it might cause further issues if you cannot immediately resolve it. Another thing is problem, you might have multiple stuff here and you might move out of the range and then it resolves later. What happens then? Crash? Save corruption? We had these issues in the Warhammer 2. So, event stop freezes and doesn't resolve until you start another event, but when you start another event, it resolves this event as well. Minor AI greenskins factions are missing VA ability in battles. Well, it might be that all greenskins are currently missing VA ability in battle, because, you know, greenskins don't need to have a VA in battles. It's not like it's one of their main mechanics and the ways they fight in battle. Not really important. I guess that's what they were thinking when they were saying they wanted to give more racial specific things in battle. You know, I guess they get the memo that in Warhammer 2 the greenskins could VA in battle as the AI. So this one makes greenskins a lot worse in battles, because this is an important part of greenskin strength in battles. When this happens is when the greenskins start to deal damage in battle. And usually, on average, they use this 2 to 3 times. Now imagine fighting Grimgor, and Grimgor cannot use his VA when everybody gets attack and 50% damage. His army does stupid amount of damage when the thing is on. Without it, it's fucking wet noodle, unless they have like top tier units. March stands can sometimes be used on lords that captured a settlement or were just recruited to give them 50 movement and move when they were not supposed to be able to move after these actions. So you recruit a lord or you capture a settlement and for some reason it bugs. When you go into march stance you get 50 movement, like movement reset. And this is not supposed to happen, because when you capture or raise a settlement or recruit a lord, they're supposed to have 0 movement, and no movements buff's supposed to work. And sometimes march stance will activate this character to move again. So that's another bug. This is a new one. This was not happening before. This could be possible that happens now, some bad interaction in the spaghetti code, because some factions can gain a movement during the turn without going into march stance, so something is off there. Event messages for building constructed are showing wrong tier icons of buildings, so you might build a building that's you know, lower tier or high tier and you think you have something more that to build. No, it's like just wrong information. So it's very inconvenient to build stuff towards the end unless you build everything, and that's really stupid just to build everything. It's just a bad quality of life. It's showing a wrong icon, and if you're planning to use the notifications for buildings, it's gonna be even worse. So, really inconvenient right now, bad quality of life regarding this. In the older Total Wars, before the days of notifications, you would use this pretty much, or check the settlements, you know, to build buildings, like in Rome 2, for example. But now that notifications have gotten worse, you gotta have different systems. Because when you're building something, you go resolve or skip this one. It doesn't resolve, it just skips. You gotta have to click this icon here, but it will not skip it. It will constantly keep it in rotation. So they added another step that made it worse. Lowland Forest is walls building for vampire counts. There's a simple bug here, no doubt easy to fix. So Lowland Forest, the Wood Elf Forest in the Empire in the north, has walls building. Meanwhile, you know, Altdorf doesn't have walls. So that's where the walls went. Instead of ending up in Altdorf, somebody put in the Lowland Forest. Somebody gotta hate their jobs to make, you know, stuff like this. They feel like it's rushed, and then it feels like it's not even double-checked. Is there anything more than people who are rushing things and they're not double-checking the result of their work? These are the worst people. Saves time, right? They're rushing to save the time, and then they're cutting corners but not double-checking to save even more time. And that's how we get that many bugs. Pig Barter is a provincial capital but has minor settlement garrison building instead of walls one. More rushing and less double checking. Another simple bug. Altdorf is missing walls building because, you know, let's nerf the garrison building to give a generic garrison, and then let's remove walls buildings from the cities at the same time. We know what we're doing. We're professionals. More rushing and more double checking here. No double checking. There's a region in Irana Mountains in Estalia, which basically is the texture of the cities is under the ground. When controlled by the beastmen. If they put an army inside, they literally sink under the map. So, again, rushing, no double checking. For vampire counts controlling Altdorf, Battle Wizard type building isn't under landmark category, but it's a landmark building. So this is just a minor one. One of the landmarks for the vampires in Altdorf is not under the landmark category. There is something off with the House Sylvania Crossmen for vampire counts. There is something off with how Sylvania Crossmen work for vampire counts and capacity, unlocks and skill. Skill cattle herder to grant more capacity doesn't seem to do anything at all, or might unlock more than one after its skill 1 out of 3 on the bloodline lords. So when you unlock the Wonkarsa bloodline, you get 1 crossman. You unlock another one, you get a second crossman. You unlock a third one, you get 3 crossmen. They each has a skill cattle herder, which grants another up to 3, to up total of 6. This is, I think, an issue. It actually tells you 0 out of 6 at the start of the campaign, but you have not unlocked 0 out of 6. We have Cookies says, I find it highly inappropriate when you doubt CA's professionalism. I can bet you in your life never seen more professional clowns. Shame on you. You know, if anybody can doubt anybody's professionalism, it's me. Because, you know, I'm here, you know, playing at being a professional. I can detect when others are trying to, you know, pretend to be professionals too. So, You get 3 by unlocking the lords, and when you unlock one more, it seems to unlock the rest of them without the need to skill the other skills, which means skilling the other skills doesn't do anything. So something is off. What exactly there is off, I need to check in the files for this, but it's bugged. Number 23. The 3 Slanesh infantry with Hell Scourgers have 0 AP, each making them only units right now with the no AP, when units like Peasant Mob, Zombies and Skaven Slaves have some AP damage. Meanwhile, Hell Scourge Cav has certain AP damage. An obvious bug, they forgot to assign armor piercing damage to the Hell Scourge infantry. So you get 3 really shitty infantry units that do no damage. You got the Marauders of Slanesh Hell Scourgers, 0. You got Chaos Warriors Slanesh Hell Scourgers, 0. And you got Chosen Slanesh Hell Scourgers, 0. I don't think they understand how bad this is, because if you're gonna intentionally give a unit 0 armor piercing weapon damage, you better give it a massive regular weapon strength. It would be cool to consider just using base weapon damage with the debuffs instead. Like, oh, let's remove that unit armor, and those whips are really strong against no armor, let's, you know, do some damage. So basically, if they wanted this to actually look good, this unit should have had about 36 weapon strength. This unit should have had about 48 weapon strength. And this unit should have had about 66 weapon strength. And then I could swallow that 0. I could do it. I could swallow that 0. This is a really bad bug for these units, make these units really shit. But thank God there are a regular version of these units that actually do damage. Because, you know, Mr. Streamer, this is a defender. They got higher defense and shit, right? They got, you know, charge reflection so it can hit for 0 AP damage. Because, you know, this unit is not a fucking defender. With 84 defense. No, this one is not defender. The other one is a defender. Because some idiot at that company wrote defender here. So they justify 0 AP here, another bug. Oh, look at this. They got 5 more defense. This is a defender. This unit excels at pinning the enemy down in melee, buying time for the rest of your army to get into position. Because apparently the regular chosen is not defender. No, we know what we're doing. What you gonna pick? 0 AP or 14 AP? Don't be a flavor special mama boy idiot recruiting these units, giving these idiots at that company to be allowed to do shit like this. Without even testing. Because if you not use it, they're going to see it. They're good at stat whoring. Where were we? On Regiments of Renown recruitment tab, the ranked 9 boss short twice. So basically, the Regiments of Renown starts short twice for some reason. When you look at these units, their leadership, attack, defense, and sometimes missile strength are displayed twice. It's just a display issue. Once you create one of these units, it's fixed. Just a display issue. That's not the first time this issue is in the game. They fixed one. They fixed this one. They need, you know, one update per fix. They can fix 2 things in one patch. Voice of Chaos skill Spit and Malice doesn't work on the Sibyl Slaughter Kid Regiment Renown. So they're basically some battle skills don't work on Regiments Renown. They add new content to the game, but they don't bother, you know, checking if it works, and they don't bother double checking at all. Rushing and half-assing, and not double checking again. Year after year after year after year after year, same shit. Probably the same guy who hates his fucking job, just want to go home and play Fortnite or some shit, don't even give a shit about working on this strategy game. Warriors of Chaos, Endless March, Gift of Chaos, Campaign Moon range, plus 35% bonus is lost if one of the characters in that army changes amount. So that's a big bug, because Endless March is an expensive Gift of Chaos. It raises the upkeep of your whole faction. Just imagine one of the characters unlocks a mount, and you lose 35% movement, but you're still paying 15% higher upkeep. Shit like this should not happen. There's also issue with the heroes in general. They automatically unlock mounts without skilling them anymore. That was always an issue, but we didn't pay attention before because we didn't get free mounts before all the time. Now that we got free mounts all the time, we notice even more spaghetti code. So your characters get mounts and your army loses movement range. Heroes affecting movement range in the army should not happen. They are not lord. They're not lead that army. They're just a military unit in the army. So this is pretty bad, especially if you try to use this for you know, all the time. Warriors of Chaos technologies that require active gifts of chaos stop working randomly, even if those gifts of chaos are active. Techs like Dark Diplomacy and Echo Chamber. So basically, any technology that requires active gifts of chaos to work will randomly stop working, because, you know, they test things and they, you know, double check things. And they don't have to fix them 3 months later. You can see the pattern, you know, forming here with everything. Everything feels it was rushed. Even this pay DLC. Warriors of Chaos skills, hammer into animal and speed and malice doesn't work on Knights of the Brazen Throne and Regiment Renown. Again, more skills that don't work on Regiments Renown. The red glow effect on current wielder of Sword of Cain on the map is off, either not showing on the wielder or showing last turn location. This campaign we actually got surprised by Sword of Cain wielder, didn't glow, and, you know, underestimated the strength of the army, and we lost the battle just because we didn't have this information. And no doubt will happen to many people over time until they fix this. I did have another army in the area that I could reinforce to overwhelm that army, but I didn't see the Sword of Cain in the army because there was no red glow. This is the red glow of the wielder of the Sword of Cain. Where the Sword of Cain moves, it moves with it, but it's currently bugged in the game.
Lord of
Kyle was here last turn. The Sword of Cain apparently is still in the city and not with him. This was also issue in Warhammer 2, half the time was bugged. And anybody has the Sword of Cain, get ready for a nasty surprise sooner or later. Can happen to anybody. Missile strength buffs don't work on explosive damage, half of missile strength damage numbers. So you got buffs for missile damage. Well, it will only buff the base damage. It will not buff explosive damage. This has been bugged since this series started. So units that do explosive damage do not get buffs from missile strength. And this is especially bad on units like mortars, Plague Catapult, Casket of Souls, to name a few. So you buff the damage, but their explosive damage, which is why you use these units, does not get buffed. So only base missile damage and armor-piercing missile damage gets buffed, but not the base of explosive damage and armor-piercing explosive damage. So it's a bug with how the buff works. And there is no reason not to buff the entirety of missile strength if buff says plus 12% missile strength. So what is missile strength? Missile strength is all the damage numbers, and there is 4 of them. base explosive damage and armor piercing explosive damage buffs don't work. So basically, if you're using that unique skill to buff the Casket of Souls, or using missile strength buffs on mortars, unless a mortar hits the target directly, the entity, it will not do any extra damage. Number 32. Rabel, Chaos Lord of Khorne, was taking attrition from Chaos Wastes. For some reason, even in Warhammer 3, and this has been an issue since the start of this series, by I mean Warhammer 1, rebels take attrition. They either spawn in a swamp, and they're raiding and taking attrition, or even they're sieging and taking attrition. And now a Chaos Lord is taking attrition from the Chaos Wastes. Isn't it the same for melee damage increases to only buff non-AP? No, that's not true. Only if it says base, if it says weapon damage. So, for example, if you have Banner of Rage, if it says base weapon damage plus 10%, it'll just buff base weapon damage, which is a pointless stat. It should always be weapon strength. So, Cyril Slash gives weapon strength plus 8%, and we got 300 AP. Okay, that's it for the bugs right now. That's only 32 here. I have about 5 of them stuck in my head right now, preventing me to sleep normally, or think about other things like booba games. But I'm not sure how to put them in. We also have to see more cases, to really put them in, not just half-assed like everybody else does. So currently 32 bugs here. I estimate this game has probably over 400 bugs, issues right now. Over 400 at this point. This is for me just that I found in 2 campaigns. Regarding the section of issues, features and oversights. And yeah, already at 49. So what do we have here? Yeah. Just one moment, boys. One moment. I'm here, boys. Somebody's trying to connect to the internet. Okay, where were we? So, under issues, post-battle option, kill captives plus 100% experience for 1 turn is way too weak compared to other options. You should scale like other options, more XP if the captives get killed. Seems like every faction has this option now. You kill the captives and all your units in the army get 100 experience. And this is the army experience. So you can pick option number 1. Everybody gets 100 experience, which, White Knights will say will add up with everything else. Or you can, get like hundreds of souls, thousands of income, or replenishment for the whole army. Which option will get picked, I wonder? The only time really to pick that option is if you're trying to get headmen ahead of time and the replenishment is not needed and the income option is low. So this is way too weak. It should scale with the captives. Should go even up to 1,000 experience. second one, Kolek Sun Eater on campaign map, almost the same size as Ogre Tyrant. That looks so fucking terrible. And in battle, not large enough, especially since now we got things like Dread Saurian in the game. That is just fucked up, man. Sun Eater, huh? I think it's time they give Kolek a little bit more proper size. It was a Warriors of Chaos rework, and the Kolek has been forgotten. At least when it comes to this part. I guess it's just like... you would think CA would care about things like this. They care more about things like this than, you know, meta stuff. When I saw Kolek the same size as the Tyrant, that looks so stupid. Sigvald the Magnificent 3D portrait is atrocious. It's a fucking embarrassment what it is. Look at that. That's somebody who has played 10,000 hours of CA games. Now he's looking in the ground, not sure if he would be brooding or he's waiting for his next drink. Look at this and look at this. Okay. That's a good proposal, Tor Gaming. He's a prince after all. Prince Sigvald, the Magnificent 3D portrait, is not magnificent. Oracles of Zinch have no battle skill for their chosen units on Kairos and Heralds. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable every single time this shit. Imagine me playing Oracles of Zinch and I'm like, oh shit, this faction is so fucking bare bones. They got Kairos, they got cool voices, they got, you know, some of those shenanigans they can do, you know, changing your ways. Sure, I can tolerate finishing this campaign. You know, when will they add more shit to this faction? Oh shit! Warriors of Chaos DLC is coming, they're adding a bunch of new shit to every faction. And now Oracle of Zinch have access to Chosen and other shit, but, you know, it doesn't work with this faction. No buffs. Imagine how much things could be to get done if there was, you know, some due diligence, no half-arsing, some actual polish while working the thing at the same time. You know, it's like, you know, you're in school and you know the professor is talking about the subject, and for 35 minutes you have to be in there. You just have to be there. It's not optional. And there's always that one guy who is in the class, sitting for 45 minutes thinking, oh my god, where will this class end? And then 45 minutes later, lost of his life that he will never get back. And then, like, what did he learn? Nothing. Now he's gonna have to waste another 45 to 2 hours to learn what they were supposed to learn during class. Because, you know, he values his time in life. It's more important that it's 45 minutes during that time. Now he's gonna have to spend more time trying to learn this shit. And that was this CA guy. Instead of paying fucking attention, due diligence, trying to learn something and improve so you don't have to waste more time later. And then every single time this shit happens, instead of, you know, polishing the game, adding more new stuff, expansions and shit. They're still fixing the same issues every single time. And you gotta wonder how much shit would have gotten done if they wouldn't be fixing these issues every single year. The same stuff. It is either the people working there that don't give a shit about being good at their job, or they don't care. The worst people. You would think people in this industry will have some passion for their work. I mean, you guys seen when we were doing the Lizardman and the Beastman DLC? One of those guys was so fucking enthusiastic about the way he was talking, speaking, explaining things. It was disgusting. He was disgustingly enthusiastic, that guy. Made me sick. Is he literally the only guy that has, you know, a soul and has putting effort at that company? Because, you know, that other guy that used to be a content creator looked like somebody who had leeches on his back when he was supposed to work. It was like a Gul'dan draining the life out of him, and he was sucking at the game at the same time. He wouldn't even prepare for the official, you know, early view of the content. Literally saying goblins have spears, they get say trolls in it, and then getting wrecked anyways. Losing a battle. This first battle of the campaign. In front of thousands of people. CA, content creator. And then he said at the end, maybe he shouldn't have put it on hard. That's what made me feel the worst. He shouldn't have put it on hard. Zero preparation. At least on those wannabe content creators on YouTube that are like, you know, pros, they test, you know, they test shit, they get better off stream, and then when they get to stream their shit, they don't look like complete fools. Veteran battle skills that buff units rank 7 above should not have any leadership buffs, cause by just getting rank 7 the units already receive 7 leadership from being veterans. Man, this one should be fucking clear as day. If units become veterans and they get buffs to make them better at what they're supposed to do, they should not be getting more leadership. As by just getting rank 7 they get 7 leadership. It's kinda stupid. Like for example, freakish mutations. Leadership plus 8 for all war beasts, monsters and monster units, rank 7 and above. To achieve rank 7 you get already 7 leadership. But there you go, another 8 leadership. Leadership stats should not exist on veteran battle skills. And one of these units that get buffed by that is none other than the Spawn of Slanesh. A giant, a chaos giant, 100 leadership. Rank 7, 107 leadership. But no, let's give it another 8 leadership just in case. Make that unbreakable unit even more unbreakable, and make sure the giant doesn't rout. Because the giant will need, you know, 115 leadership in rank 7. The giant might as well be unbreakable as it is right now. And he gets another, you know, what, 10, 18 leadership without any other buffs. I've seen Chaos Giants at 140 leadership. 80 is already high leadership, 80. Cetra is missing Arcane item slot. He's a wizard with full wizard line, but no Arcane item slot. That's enough said. Arcane item slot for Cetra. Wizards with no Arcane item slots. What the fuck? He's a wizard. He can cast spells. He can channel the winds. He has Arcane Conduit, but he cannot use an Arcane item. Lord's army traits and followers still present on heroes and don't work. So heroes up to this day gets Lord army stuff and it doesn't work. This is also included on ancillaries and items as well. So you get these things and they don't do anything. And these are on some of the factions that don't have really anything else to equip. Imperial Embassy 1 and 2 landmark in Kislev does too little and too late. Are tier 4 and 5 landmark in such city where building slots are all very precious for other buildings, possibly the worst landmark I've ever seen. Don't even get me started on that one. Don't even get me fucking started on that one. That's like a fucking disaster what it is. Waste of fucking somebody's time. They even create that shit. That's enough said there. Kislev, great cities like Kislev, Erengrad and Prague should have 12 building slots. Erengrad, for example, has 10 slots with port and 19 total buildings available, of which 15 can go about tier 3 only built in there. 10 slots in these cities. That's a huge oversight if you ask me. Single region province, 10 slots. 19 total buildings that can go about tier 3. 19. Some of the cities have 4 landmarks and a resource. They fucked up this. I think 10 is good. You have to make a decision what you want to get. There is no fucking decision, Wanchler. You just get the best stuff and ignore the rest. If you think that is a decision, that's not a decision at all. You just get the best stuff. And everything, who gives a shit about everything else? There's no options. You can only just get best stuff. Demon faction should have all climates suitable, and region bonuses on climates could be affected by low or high corruption instead. Negative on lower and higher, positive while it's high. Bonus from having high winds of magic reserve right now, 80+% is trivial and should be higher as well. I think this is a huge missed opportunity where you can make the demon factions more unique and more special, where the climate system would not be relevant to them and they would be only affected by the corruption. And winds of magic providing more benefits to this faction as well. These games are slave to literally shit ton of Total War mechanics which really don't fit on all the factions. And sometimes I feel like they are forcing some factions to use Total War mechanics that don't make no sense with these factions. And this makes it even worse now that the Warriors of Chaos have all climate suitable. Warriors of Chaos. Mortals. Meanwhile, Demons of Chaos get the trivial bonus on high winds of magic, and they got a climate system that's not like this. I didn't even know what their priorities lie with this shit here. Like, Demons of Chaos was a perfect race to have the maximum advantage over the climate system that is only affected by the corruption. Like the corruption mechanic. Makes you wonder why they created this, you know, fancy corruption tab if they're not gonna use it. What's worse, demons which are supposed to thrive with winds of magic get a dog shit bonus if the winds of magic are high. And if the winds of magic are low, they get a severe penalty. What's up with that? Greenskin's Tinker building should be +2, +3 and +5 scrap per turn and not research. Current tech doesn't need any research, it doesn't fit anymore. That's pretty straightforward. The research, the tree goes so fast, the bonus research doesn't do anything. There's not even breaking points. Instead, this building should provide passive scrap gains per turn. Greenskin Bell skill Ars Nails is missing second buff for pump wagons and melee chariots. It only buffs one part of these units. Greenskin Bell skills are missing range buffs for missile infantry, cavalry and chariots, goblins and orcs, and when they are rank 7 and above. Where are those buffs? Nobody knows. Skaven slaves still missing on basic battle skill. That's not like it's been 5 years. Maybe they'll be there in the next 5 years. Yes, royalty. Morati's faction doesn't have any buffs for her new Demonette units. The unique slashy building that spreads her corruption could offer a faction-wide buff to those units on every building, giving incentive to build them all around. You know, another oversight. What do you guys think, what will happen sooner? The CA will fix some of this shit in 5 years? Putin will conquer Ukraine, or we'll be all dead in nuclear hellfire? Flying units charging settlement build towers damages them just fine. That quite often units like Vargas get stuck on top of tower without dealing further damage to it. So, yeah. There's a problem with large units attacking objects like fortifications, doors, or towers. Well, if they fire nuclear missiles, they better not miss. They better put a direct one right in the center of my city, so I die in the instant. So I don't have to suffer the next 20 years. Imagine they just fuck up the climate, they fuck up the industries, the food production, and then you just have a slow, miserable existence, dying slowly. They better kill me when they fire those missiles. What's the matter, smooth skin? Never seen a ghoul before? Where were we? Large units like Ogre Bulls or Creep Horrors, both siege attackers, have some issues attacking doors and wall sieges and doing low damage compared to a unit like Creep Ghouls. Yeah. I mentioned that one before. So the large units have problems attacking the door and attacking stuff like barricades as well. Meanwhile, the large units like the Ogre Bulls, Creep Horrors, some of the most effective units at destroying the gates back in Warhammer 2. Now they struggle to destroy it. It almost feel like these buildings have some kind of bad padding issue or invisible walls blocking proper attack animations, and these units are splashing air instead of dealing direct damage to the object. Well, you know, guys, a little bit morbid humor here, because, you know, today when I woke up, it's literally just, you know, nuclear war on the front page. It's like, just what I want to see early in the morning. Make my day better. They've been throwing the nuclear war titles like it's, you know, a common thing that happens every day. They don't even understand how many people, how many more suicides gonna be every month and yearly by throwing these titles around. Every time they throw a nuclear war title around, there's probably several people kill themselves because of it. Anyways, enough of this morbid shit. Let's go back to the Rindy shit. Vampire counts regiment renowned to tight doesn't receive Vanguard deployment ability from Master Reputed Hortec, just a minor thing. Many regions and settlements are missing landmark and resource icons on them, like Hunter Forest missing exotic animals, resource icon, and she's a missing landmark icon. So, you know, this is just minor things. This is like acceptable things you can see in beta, for sure. For sure, you know, I don't mind seeing things like this in beta. Seeing things like this in beta and in the game in general just pisses me off. Vampire Count's tech, a recent champion, should also affect both Graveguard and Black Knight's units. Also, Book of Arcane tech works on Graveguard units, but they are not listed on the tech. More minor stuff because they move the stuff around the tech. Technology is called Recent Champions, but it buffs zombies and skeletons, but it does not buff Black Knights and the Graveguard, which are the Recent Champions and not the other way around. Vampire Count's building ancient armory should provide +1 capacity for White Kings, or Reliquary should be down to tier 3. So White King hero in the Vampire Count is supposed to be like the earliest hero, but capacity is unlocked in tier 4. Which makes this hero pretty poor. Because the most important tier 4 building is the Vampire building. And by the time you unlock those buildings, the White Kings all they kind of lose their charm. What is this wall of text here? Who writes this shit? Regarding hero skills, originally heroes had a max rank of 13, kind of enough skills and options. With Warhammer 2 that was increased to rank 40, and with Warhammer 3 to rank 50. Already with Warhammer 2 some heroes did not get a good skill tree and were lacking options and flavor. Now with Warhammer 3 it's clear there is not enough skill options for a lot of heroes like Orc, Shaman, Emperor Captain, Necromancer to name a few. Things that can be done is to add additional skills for every hero depending on faction. Hero type, background and specific skills to each of hero mount options. Easy thing that can be improved is to add veteran campaign skills on every hero, which could be available to every hero from rank 20 or 25. Just another set of blue skills under current ones that just do slightly more and or different than ones above. Also each hero could get additional hero ability to have another option to use in the armies instead of their starting ability. Like for example, current Vampire hero has replenished troops starting from rank 20. It could unlock scouting as well, and could pick which one you could use in the army, similar to Lord Croak having 2 different hero abilities. There's no fucking way anybody's gonna read this this shit unless it's like 2 lines of text. Those guys don't even care. They only care about bitching and crying outside windows and 2 lines of text. Okay, what's the next one? It's turn 64 on legendary campaign difficulty, and followers of Nagash are mostly tier 1 settlements. For some reason not upgrading. One of their provincial capitals has been on tier 1 for around 20 turns. They got strong economic power according to diplomacy. Some of their ports are still tier 1. On tier 3 settlement there is a ruin in the middle of their decent sized empire. So yeah, this is definitely an issue in the campaign. And we're noticing more of these issues as we play more. There's an economic buff missing from the factions, and or there's some bugs probably in the scripts how they build stuff. Crying outside of windows, you say, did I see Bloom at McDonald's? No, Bloom is, you know, making sweet, gentle love to the window. Post-battle options, for example, as Vampire counts, Murder Captains, Dominant Captains, and Turn Captains don't scale work properly when attacking a smaller force that is reinforced by another army, so we can have battle where it's 20 units versus 3 that are reinforced by another 80 and still get results for those 3 units. Yeah, has been an issue in Warhammer 2 for years. So if you attack a smaller force reinforced by larger force, the post-battle options will not scale for things it's supposed to scale. Aldorf is missing walls, garrison building for the Empire, Vampire counts. Castle Reigard should be unique garrison for Aldorf. Yeah. Cities that have garrisons over 20 units sometimes keep worse units instead of stronger ones, like Morheim with Vampire counts. Landmark keep zombies, skeleton warriors, and creep ghouls over creep horrors. Garrison should be able to go over 20 units up to a large army of 40 units. I actually seen Skaven allies build outposts in my city. My city that has quality units, by the way, like Chosen and stuff. And in the city, there is Skaven slaves and less armored troops. Vampire counts take vampiric verification, don't feed the units, while bonus armor is fine. That percentage charge is out of place, especially for corpse guard and mortis engine. Corpse guards have 23 speed, and because of this tend to be ignored as a unit in the armies later on. This tech should provide plus 10 to 50% speed instead of charge for these units, including corpse guard character mounts. Also, tech that follows the illusions of grandeur is very poor for one at the end of the tech tree. Another tech that does next to nothing spread vampire coins. 25% is very little to do anything. So we basically just commented on the vampire tech. They got a couple of techs that are off, but everything else is pretty solid. So instead of corpse guards getting plus 1 charge and mortis engine getting plus 1 charge, they should get the speed buff there instead. Giant River Troll Hag is hard to select in campaign map, and also her model cannot be targeted by another hero like other heroes can. Only way is to target the icon at the moment. Well, we experienced this on the Giant River Troll Hag and not on the other heroes, but it could be as well happening to other heroes as well. So basically, you can target the hero. You see, that's how you target the hero.
Servant of Hecate.
But if it's a troll hag, you click here and nothing happens.
Sister of the dark.
So the only way you can do it, you have to click the icon.
My dark heart is yours.
Not always convenient as well when there's a lot of stuff around. Oh boy, brace yourselves. Somebody wrote a wall text here. For Vampire counts, variety of resource buildings could use some flavor bonuses like the ones on iron, carobsidian, timber. Alongside the resource and their income. Resources like medicinal plants, dyes, gold mining. Gold mining, all factions should get gold islands for trade from this one. Building is very outdated building from Warhammer 1, currently exactly the same as common income building. If you compare it to the gem mining, you can see what I'm talking about. So it's just polish of the resource buildings. Regarding common income building and repression building, it gives a bit too much income, making Vengeful Spirits, Vampire Lair, Necromancy buildings look silly in comparison even with tech. Yeah, that building is way too high for some reason. Also, Tier 5 for Vampire counts factions pretty much don't exist unless there is a landmark in the region. Costs for Tier 5 are not worth it, and there is not much to be gained from building those buildings. Build just one of each for hero ranks and recruit all heroes there and done. You do even easier access to Rise Dead nowadays. Blood Knights and Terror Guests are no longer Tier 5 units. Tier 4 at best. Tier 5 settlement should make higher income increase than the same amount like Tier 3 to Tier 4. Set of 100, 200, while Vengeful Spirit buildings income should double the current value, and Necromancy and Vampire should make more instead of 500, 100 to 75, 150, or double as well. The Tier 2, 5... The 2 Tier 5 Vampire counts buildings could use more flavor, some faction effect or garrison unit on them as well. Very little reason to build them around. So the resource building could use a little bit more polish and flavor. The early economic buildings, the preparation one is too good. The mid and high tier economy buildings are crap, not even worth building. And there's very little incentive to build tier 5 on the vampire counts. Literally ignored. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, if you're gonna play vampire counts, you're playing kill the vampire counts, just ignore tier 5 and see if it makes any difference. I guarantee you'll have more money in the campaign, and not just dumping burning money for nothing. Regarding other Vampire Coast buildings, military recruitment should be renamed to AI recruitment. Due to race dead mechanic being more convenient than ever, only AI will ever use this, and Bellfire type buildings could use another effect or two. It was fine when it released back in Warhammer 1 with old corruption system, and now with old corruption system now values are not good enough, and new protection type building is just better. A little bit more comments regarding vampires. We did play the long vampire campaign. The basic military recruitment is pointless with the vampires. It's only used by the AI. Raise dead too convenient. And the Bellfire building doesn't do really anything outside tier 4. And our tier 4 is not good enough. Okay, what's next? Attrition from Chaos Corruption should be higher, even on higher difficulty. AI for some reason still has high resist to high corruption attrition. For all AI to similar level of attrition caused by vampiric corruption. These days, compared to early Warhammer 1, every faction has ways to lower attrition for corruption anyways. Yep, Chaos Corruption attrition is still a joke. Should be closer to the vampiric corruption. There was a Gorst campaign where Arcanum lost half his army to vampiric corruption. On legendary difficulty. Meanwhile, everybody just strolling through the Chaos Corruption, taking next to no damage. Golan says, I have seen people complain Raise Dead needs to be nerfed so we can recruit from settlements. That's probably how you know, CA would fix some stuff. Instead of, you know, improving the rest of it, they would correct what's you know, abnormal. What's causing abnormalities have to be corrected, and everything else should just be kept sucky. You know, like the discipline job. Let's fuck up a couple of good traits so everything sucks and nobody complains about the rest of the traits. Oh, go on. I heard about these creatures from the Echo Chamber. They cause madness and mental fatigue. You can take items from characters that are leading armies that have been requested borrowed from allies. You can't open their character screen, but you can find the items they are using on the list of all items and switch. This definitely can be intended, because you can't open the windows. So someone mentioned that Miska's chain seduction setup doesn't work at all in the game right now. I have no doubt that some of these effects don't work. But the Miska's damage has always been a joke. It should be a devastating downside. Overcasting spells should be even more powerful, and miscast should be even more dangerous. But you know, it's just a, you know, badly translated mechanic. Two crashes so far on character screen. First time just looking around, second time we're trying to equip a fallen hero. Well, since then it's been stable. What of those crashes happen in Windows 10, so Windows 10 could be the culprit. I'm using the better, more stable Windows 11 Kappa. Sponsored by Microsoft. I will learn and Everest AI both with Guardian Attribute and Diplomacy, which say this leader will do everything they can to protect their homeland. Declared war on player. Vampire counts in Bretonia and started invading Valsedus and Lash, with whom they are both at war with, are still in Ultan and taking their settlements. So diplomacy traits don't do shit in this case. Player focus and let the Ultan burn. When recruiting a hero with higher starting rank, the order of months recruited and then equipped is off. For example, Vampire unlocks Barded Nightmare and Hellsteed, but ends up being mounted on Barded Nightmare. On Necromancer, instead of Unholy Lodestone, he gets Balefire equipped instead. So if you're recruiting a higher rank hero and has multiple mounts, check if the right mount is equipped, because it can keep the wrong mount equipped. In Diplomacy, tooltip info showing what affects relations as the campaign goes gets longer and longer, to the point that you won't able to see the bottom of it, where it's actually telling you the current number, if it's increasing or decreasing, and to what value. Too many factions get listed on things affecting relations. You should just show 2 or 3 main factions in each area of relations. You think, you know, having a campaign with 280 factions, you know, the guy that designed the interface, you know, would get the memo, but apparently he did not.
Malekith.
You see the this thing? You can't even see the bottom of it. You see how it says military action against Legion of Chaos, E18, Owler, Nagarite, Everest, and another 10 factions? Well, it should just say top 2 and then list the other 3 with the rest of the 10, so you can actually see the whole UI. Like Pest War with Ezra and the Heck, the Drown, the Unstrong, the Awakened, this faction says 18. This information is irrelevant. Fucking irrelevant. Just make sure that it's just showing icons and not, you know, listing names from top to bottom. Tier 5 buildings like core buildings, ports and others should not provide growth, but instead something else like more income, or if population surplus is maxed on cities, which is 5, all sources of growth in that province should turn into bonus income instead. That is like a common sense. Common sense, because, you know, I got this amazing building here in my capital. It is so good at tier 1 that I didn't upgrade in tier 3 or tier 5. And can you imagine you have to pay 4,000 for this and 6,000 for that? So you gotta pay 10,000 for this. And I can't believe they actually create buildings like this, so they fuck up with the notification system, so you have to skip it all the time, because you don't want to build useless dogshit buildings like this. Look at this tier 5 port, growth plus 40, very useful. Very, very useful. We recently upgraded this city to tier 5, it already has 4 extra population. Tells you how useless the growth is even on the base, once you hit tier 5. This gotta be one of the worst buildings in the game. There's no reason for this building on tier 5 not to have income. This building on tier 5 should have income. When fighting 2 armies in the field, main army will not help their reinforcements in battle when you attack their reinforcement first. They just stand in their original spot without moving while you're fighting their reinforcements. This happens sometimes, and it looks like broken AI. I'm gonna put it sometimes, because I've seen it actually work sometimes. So instead of them sandwiching you, they let you kill the reinforcements and then you kill the main army. AI Vampire counts lords use invocation of hack heal on max current health units in battle. For example, 816 creep warriors that can heal about 8 for that battle. That's the shit code again. You've seen that with Earthblood as well. So basically, if you start a battle against Aladil, for example, and you don't move, and one of her units in the army is not 100%, she will burn her whole magic pool casting heals on that unit. And then you can attack her and she will have no magic left. Okay, AI sometimes doesn't attack settlement even if garrison is vastly outnumbered and they are full health, ending up wasting several turns for nothing. This is also really bad. We had literally super dwarf armies causing attrition to the very last turn. And the garrison was like out-resolve, replenish next turn 100%. And they just waited like 4, 5, 6 turns. Isn't the scorn getting released next month, Bloomcools? Sometimes the battle ends quicker than last skill on the battlefield gets adjusted, resulting in an entity is still alive at the end, like Lord with 1 health. They drop to 1 health before death, but battle ends and they are alive on 1 health at the end and still in that army. Okay, that's basically already in, here. It's more of an issue than a bug. I don't need to have that one twice there. This one here. Okay. Remove percentage from movement range. It has become misleading with points not now being shown. Stances do now just take flat points, so why keep percentage? We still sometimes get stances not available when you have exact movement left to assume stance, like 50 for encamp stance. Reason for it could be movement range buffs create not visible decimal numbers, as in for 9.6 equal 50, but it shows 50 and you can encamp. So percentage movement doesn't do anything. 50 is 50, it's not 50%. Warriors of Chaos support buildings are very poor. That's an understatement. When borrowing armies from allies, these armies will be missing stances that are available to the faction that you're playing. Game music sometimes stop playing during battle, seems to be more of an issue with pre-Warhammer 3 tracks. Demon Prince, Chaos Undivided has 2 skills granting the same ability. Mortal Blow, an Atmosphere of Ruin, and a Chaos Marked. Last shot of the Hell Cannon cannot be manually controlled, never fixed. Heroes should not be able to completely block passage for armies if they stand on the passage where where army can cross. Xancan this big. So this guy was standing here and we couldn't cross it. Traits. Trait determinant is very poor and does not fit some factions like Vampire Counts. Why is this a #1 here issue, man? It should be like, why is this still shit in the game? Every time somebody mentions word determined or I see determined, I have this, it's like just this light headache. It instantly passes. But if I think about it a little bit longer, it just stays with me. Norse traits are outdated, no shit. Traits on heralds, demon heroes, and cultists too weak. Exalted Gear demons the unique traits. Well, yeah, that's obvious. Wood Elves trait, Talon of Kronos on heroes which grant range and missile strength buff is available on Spell Singers, which don't have any range attacks. Again this, huh? Vampire Counts, a Bloodline Lord should have fixed unique traits that are more fit for their background and not randomly roll traits like everyone else. Common sense. Drycar defeated trait is very poor. Immune to utter lore and attrition and -5 control. Legendary Lord trait, by the way. Playing as Vampire Counts and defeating Manfred should award a different trait. Current one doesn't do anything. -50% attrition from the vampiric corruption attrition. Very useful on Vlad and other vampires. Heroes hate faction trait causes that hero to cause fear against these factions, doesn't do anything where it's undead or demons, since they're immune to fear. Also, this trait in current state as any undead or demon faction doesn't do anything because they already causing fear being undead or demons. Hey, man, writing this shit is one thing. Reading this shit out loud again later, it's like, wow. Fear does cause the hero to be immune to fear against that faction, though. Have you heard what I just read? This trait is acquired by doing hero actions. It should do something for that hero on the campaign against this faction and not the battle ability. Grombedel's defeated trait is very poor. Really bad. Terror against dwarves. Because, you know, terror does something against dwarves. For Warriors of Chaos, marked lords and heroes should have unique traits for each god and not randomly rolled one. Demon Princes should have even stronger version. Why is there so much issues around the traits? I wonder what would be the #1 issue in the game if it wasn't for traits. What would people complain the most about? I don't know. I'm not talking about battles here. I'm talking about on the campaign. I guess the AI would be the main complaint after that. The sorry state of it. Magic item and ancillaries, huh? Arcane weapon, Slayer of Kings, I don't even want to read it. So basically, several unique weapons are outdated. They were okay in Warhammer 1, but in Warhammer 3 are poopy. So this is pretty much the same issue with the magic items. Faint Chance has 2 items but no set bonus. Vampire Count's Follower Gravedigger doesn't do anything when equipped on a hero. Vampire Count's Follower Treasure is next to nothing now since change to income on that building. Vampire Counts have overall very poor followers. The amount and what they do, it has aged badly since Warhammer 1 when you compare it to nowadays to a faction like Kislev. Gleaming Pennant is a very weak banner. Obsidian Lodestone and Obsidian Amulet are 2 different items but do exactly the same thing. Axe of Corn is a very weak weapon. Also, intensity mechanics should charge like 30% faster. It takes too long and too much to get to 100%. Battles are over most of the time before. Rapier of Ecstasy is very poor for rare item. Oh my god. I'm getting some deja vu here. Images are coming in my head. Reading this and then reading this. Fusing 2 rare items should not agree. Oh, look at this. There's use for these things. Fuck me. Fuck off. That's why I don't... That's why you don't want to murder, fuse fucking... Where is this book? That is so fucking bad. What the fuck are these guys doing? You get this dog shit Axe of Corn, and you get this dog shit Rapier, and then you fuse them, and you get a Rapier of Ecstasy again. Fucked up. Ether Sword, another very poor rare item. So Chaos has Axe of Corn, Rapier of Ecstasy, and Ether Sword. All dog shit. Good luck merging, fusing rare items to get a random rare item that could be the same as any of these crap items. Quality of life. Tooltip for melee attack or weapon strength in unit info should show attack interval, weapon range, and splash attacks. Fucking common sense, man. Why they hide this information? Three games later, we still can't respect character skills, or at least let the Confederate Lords and Heroes reset all their points, so they might be usable, not just disbanded and replaced. 3 games later. Under a building upgrade option where the demolish icon is, we could use another button icon where we could turn off this building ask when upgrade is available to make it more convenient to play with building notifications, instead of always skipping them because some buildings are not worth upgrading. What's worse, if you skip them before a battle, game forgets you skip them and asks again. Gets tedious with large emperors as well. So... this port here. I don't want to upgrade it. There should be an icon here, don't ask me to upgrade it. So I can play with notifications. There is this building here. There's a demolished building here. There should be an icon next to it. Click Don't ask me about upgrading this building ever again. What's so hard about this? Where's the quality of life? They actually fucked up the building notifications to the point where now you have to click the arrow to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. It never really skips. It just cycles all the buildings all the time. They added another step or skip, and it never really stops cycling them anymore. So you're forced to build this if you want to play with notifications. We could use an option where heroes ranking up and equipping mounts automatically can be turned off, and also notification message for mounts unlocked be disabled, or at least an option to disable it. Currently, Necromancer has 4 different mounts, and you can recruit it at the rank where all are unlocked. So right now, you get 4 different messages about that, and also a wrong mount equipped at the end. So imagine this: you're recruiting a high rank hero. You get a message, this mount get unlocked, and that mount get unlocked, and then another mount get unlocked, and then another mount get unlocked. You have to click yes, 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 yes. And then, after all that, it's the wrong fucking mount that's equipped at the end of it. So you have to go back into your character screen, and then again click a couple of buttons to equip the right mount. Gets annoying as you play a campaign in the later stages. Very annoying. Income section of faction statistic tab is missing post-battle loot and captives categories to track. There is a tracking for next to useless raiding income but no post-battle loot, which for a lot of faction generates vast amounts during campaign. So the game is tracking shit like raiding, but it doesn't track shit like post-battle loot. You can see here raiding income. You can see 198. And if I deduct all these numbers and deduct that number from this one, you would get amount that's diplomacy, post-battle loot, and ransom. And it will be in hundreds of thousands. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands. If there is a limit to how many traits Lord can have, it should show in the bracket on top of the traits menu, like traits 1 out of 40, for example, if there is a limit, which apparently there might be. So if we go to our character, it says traits here, should be a bracket next to it, and it tells you you have currently 3, 1, 2, 3 out of what the limit is, like 3 out of 40. Another cool thing would be if there is an item in game that exists, which would be kind of some kind of potion or something. You can just use it on the character, and you can pick to remove one of the traits. Like for example, Beard Hammer, or Drookie Destroyer, since they put some kind of arbitrary limit to the traits. Or it could be, you know, like X here, you pay 1000 gold and you can remove that trait, if it's a beneficial trait. If it's a negative trait, could also be just pay a lot more. Yeah. So that's the current Grey Book bugs. A day doesn't pass where we are not adding and editing shit in this thing. A day doesn't pass, and we only done 2 campaigns so far. 2 campaigns. Out of 87 factions. I would guesstimate there is over 400 issues in the game right now. Over 400. One of the primary issues is, I'm gonna have to add it here. It should probably be issue number 1 or on the very top, but we'll put it here. Legendary right now in the game is shit. If you play Ultimate Crisis, that's how Legendary should look like. And I'm saying this with full modesty. The Legendary right now in the game has never been as bad as it is right now. Even though that shit Rome 2 Legend difficulty that they did, it's almost as bad as that.
Oh my god. Have you seen that shit? Holy shit. What the hell?
The only time we've seen anything happen here is when there's like some kind of freak accident, like a Lariel. It gets good armor, even sort of Kane in that case. But this seems to be one of the core issues in the game right now. They haven't patched Immortal Empress yet. What they released so far with Immortal Empress beta was day 1 patch that got delayed, so we haven't received patch yet. So we're still waiting for a proper patch. I'm only putting stuff in the Great Book of Bugs what I experienced myself. If anybody wants to use anything out of these great books, got my permission. Do whatever you want. Okay. Before we start the campaign for the day, I'm gonna do a short break here. Get a couple deep breaths and a drink. A Great Book of Bugs as always gets me going.